Hello, welcome to the Self Learning Podcast by Dr. Sushma Singh. Let us start discussion on Unit 20 Citizenship, and our topic is Civil Society. The term civil society was used by writers such as Locke and Rousseau to describe civil government as differentiated from natural society or the state of nature. The Marxist concept derives from Hegel. In Hegel, civil or bourgeois society as the realm of individuals who have left the unity of the family to enter into economic competition is contrasted with the state or political society. For Hegel, it is only through the state that the universal interest can prevail. Since he disagrees with Locke, Rousseau or Adam Smith that there is any innate rationality in civil society which will lead to the general good. Marx uses the concept of civil society in his critique of Hegel. Marx uses civil society in his early writings as a yardstick of the change from the feudal to bourgeois society. Civil society arose, Marx insists, from the destruction of the medieval society. Previously, individuals were part of many different societies, such as guilds or estates, each of which had a political role, so that there was no separate civil realm. As these partial societies broke down, civil society arose in which the individual became all important. The old bonds of privilege were replaced by the selfish needs of atomistic individuals separated from each other and from the community. The only links between them are provided by the law, which is not the product of their will and does not conform to their nature, but dominates human relationships because of the threat of punishment. The fragmented conflictual nature of civil society with its property relations necessitates a type of politics which does not reflect this conflict but is abstracted and removed from it. The modern state is made necessary and at the same time limited by the characteristics of civil society. The fragmentation and misery of civil society escape the control of the state, which is limited to formal negative activities and is rendered impotent by the conflict, which is the essence of economic life. The political identity of individuals as citizens in the modern society is served from their civil identity and from their function in the productive sphere as tradesman, day laborer, or land owner. Although Gramsci continued to use the term to refer to the private or non-state sphere, including the economy, his picture of civil society is very different from that of Marx. It is not simply a sphere of individual needs, but of organizations, and has the potential of rational self-regulation and freedom. Gramsci insists on its complex organization as the ensemble of organism, commonly called private, where hegemony and spontaneous consent are organized. He argues that any distinction between the civil society and the state is only methodological, since even a policy of non-intervention like laissez-faire is established by the state itself. The metaphors he uses to describe the precise relationship between the state and civil society vary. A fully developed civil society is presented as a trench system able to resist the incursion of economic crises and to protect the state, whereas Marx insists on the separation between the state and civil society. Gramsci emphasizes the interrelationship between the two. The state, narrowly conceived as government, is protected by hegemony organized in civil society, while the coercive state apparatus fortifies the hegemony of the dominant class. Yet the state also has an ethnic function, as it tries to educate people, public opinion, and to influence the economic sphere. In turn, the very concept of law must be extended. Gramsci suggests, since elements of custom and habit can exert a collective pressure to conform in civil society without coercion or sanctions. In any actual society, the lines of demarcation between the civil society and the state may be blurred, but Gramsci argues against any attempt to equate or identify the two. And while he accepts a role for the state in developing civil society, he warns against perpetuating statutory or state worship. Gramsci redefines the withering away of the state in terms of a full development of the self-regulating attributes of civil society. In Marx's writings, civil society is portrayed as the terrain of individual egoism. Gramsci refers to Hegel's discussion of the states and corporations as organizing elements, which represent corporate interest in a collective way in civil society, and the role of the bureaucracy and the legal system in regulating civil society and connecting it to the state. A reading of the concept of civil society in both Marxist and non-Marxist thinkers leads to an examination of the concept of politics itself. It involves the relationship between individuals and between individuals and the community, a view of society as organized or not, the delineation of public and private. Now let us wind up the session and take rest. Thank you very much for engaging yourself with a self-learning podcast.